Hello and welcome to the Freestyle Takeover Podcast, the premier dance game freestyle talk show. You're listening to episode 6, Panel. It's your boy, Pretty Paolo Sambrano, and to my right,
Ryan, aka Mr. Rye God, aka Mr. Regular Ryan, aka Regular Ryan on Twitter.
And James, aka Captain Canada, at YayGabbyJ on Twitter.
I am Mel, aka DJ Melvis, at DJ Melvis, wherever you can find me on social media.
And I am John, aka Chase Sid, aka Chaos, at a 40 ounce for breakfast on Twitter. Glass bottle only, ladies. We OG here.
that makes 5. But I said 6 panel, and you'll find out why with our special guest to my right, my left, radio right. Take it away.
Hi there. My name is Wendell, aka Mr. Wendell, and you probably seen me being a very husky man dancing on dance simulation games way back in the day when I was young and fat. Now I'm old and fat, but that's okay because I'm here for the culture.
We got a very special episode for y'all. We got Mr. Wendell in the house, legend in the DDR community. But first, we got to take care of some business. We want to get on the hype train for Fresno Frenzy 2! Happening Saturday, September 22nd at Dave & Buster's in Fresno. Quick rundown of the schedule. Lower Division MA pops off at 10:30 a.m. Upper Division MA, 4 p.m. Doubles Division, Sunday at 5 p.m. And your Saturday night main event, Freestyle, kicks off at 9 p.m. We will be streaming Fresno Frenzy 2 thanks to our friends at SF Evolved. Tourney will be on a DDR Ace machine. As far as our freestyle tourney goes, it'll be 1 round. And John, do you want to take away with prizes?
Absolutely. So in third place, you get yourself a $25 DNB power card plus your choice of everybody's favorite Craig's. You get your choice of a Craig shirt that we have. We have several designs for you to pick out, and pick your favorite. If you get top 3, you got your choice. So, second place, we got a $50 DMB power card plus your choice of course, Craig's t-shirt. And first place, taking all the marbles. You're there with the best performance of the night. You get a $75 Dave & Buster's card. Plus your choice of another Craig's t-shirt. You get first choice, of course, because you're first place. And you also get a spectacular trophy supplied by the good folks at Dave & Buster's. So get yourself some power cards, a trophy, and Don, our favorite man of the year in the DDR community,
Live the dream, live the meme.
as he likes to say, yes, of course.
From 2018 to 2018.
Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, man. Rippin' pepperoni. We can't wait to see your guys' performance and show us what you got,
This is the first official crossover between Freestyle Takeover and the MA scene. So
yeah, we are definitely excited to be working with the people at SF Evolved, our good friends. We definitely want to bring back how tournaments used to be back in the day, where tech and freestyle would be running the same day. Kind of give it back like how it used to be in NorCal.
Just like an all-day event, like an all-day, not huge rager, but
Yeah,
a controlled rager.
it's going to turn into one.
Exactly.
It's got a bar, so
Yeah, and we'll be there all weekend.
Yeah.
Me, Paolo, Jeffrey, gonna drive down there together. Johnny staying all weekend?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. Say hi to us and that you listen to the podcast. And that's the next step in this, right? Yeah. Getting recognized for the podcast.
Yeah.
And then we get like a MeUndies sponsorship.
Everyone gets a blue apron.
Everyone. Yeah. That's the next prop tournament. Speaking of MAGWest, first off, if you haven't seen the panel, it's episode 5, yeah? Yes. Technically episode 5. That was a barn burner, stupendous episode. I mean, shout outs to James, shout out to everyone on the panel for making that. I was really glad to watch it. Like a regular person, on demand. So big ups to MAGWest for having Freestyle Takeover. I'm really bummed I couldn't be on the panel, but maybe next year. Just really want to poll you guys. What were your thoughts on the panel looking out a few weeks ahead of it? What did y'all think?
Ton of fun.
Yeah. I think we can do more of these and really expand on the history and get that video down on point. I had so much fun finding the highlights for what we were talking about and finding videos from all different eras and just showing off how freestyle has changed since the late 90s to now.
Yeah, no doubt. If you haven't seen the or heard the podcast or anything, I would highly recommend checking out the video version of this because of all the footage that's spliced in. I mean, some of that stuff even surprised me. Like, I haven't seen it in 15 to 20 years. So that was an awesome trip to go down that lane. Shout out, obviously, to the people who attended, on Saturday morning to hear us yammer about all this stuff. I would say probably one of my biggest takeaways, one of the attendees, is like he was a pretty big player in SoCal, and he had mentioned like, well, we were wondering why did SoCal freestyle just why did it become more of a tech heavy place instead of freestyle, because it used to be a solid rivalry between both regions. And he mentioned that pretty much after Matsuri AI, which was the third Arcade Infinity tournament where 8-Ball he'd won with his cafe routine, he said that the mentality down there was after that routine had hit, everyone in SoCal was like, what are we doing? Just like, it's over. Just shut it down. So I guess my big takeaway is 8-Ball, of all people, killed freestyle in SoCal. He pretty much one-punched man, that entire thing. So, yeah, that's, I mean, for me, someone who's been in the scene for, pretty much since the get-go, for me to learn that little tidbit 15 years after fact, that's just wild.
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy to hear something like that because obviously we're all not from SoCal, but there were a few tournaments that happened after Matsuri AI, like Cyber Beat Nation and a few others, and I mean even then like the SoCal scene still came out strong.
JP Money
with freestyle, right? JP Money was like something that comes in the mind like right away in terms of freestyle. But when you think about it now, like when you think about Cyber Beat Nation, the guy that got first place was, lo and behold, the guy from NorCal, Bruce Leroy, So, I mean, I guess it was kind of interesting just to hear that, like, people were a little bit discouraged from that point on.
But what about the Master 42?
Who? AKA who? Neo? AKA Neo who?
If we had a completely unfiltered version of this conversation, God, Pandora's box would just be like ripped in half.
Yeah, that one's for Patreon subscribers only.
Yeah.
Freestyle Takeover After Dark.
Oh, man.
You might have to catch us at Freestyle after a few drinks at the bar,
Saturday, Fresno Frenzy.
So yeah, that was it's good to know that we're just not like five guys who happen to like freestyle a bunch more than everyone else. They're like people out there who share not only just our love for it, but they have their own stories, and that's kind of like why we do what we do and why we do this podcast, and we reach out on social media and such like that. We like to hear from you guys.
Absolutely.
Whether it's in Discord, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook, or just see us at a tournament in person. Hey, if there's something you want to reminisce over, or like your experience, hey, we're all about taking that seed and growing it to something awesome.
And if you are from SoCal and you were there during those times of freestyle, hit us up on the social media. Let us know your stories too.
And I do want to say as well, shout outs to 001, James Zito, for joining us at the panel. I thought it was interesting that 8-Ball's cafe routine inspired him to get into freestyle. Like that was one of the earliest ones he saw. And at the same time, it's the same routine that discouraged so many SoCal people. So I wonder nationwide if that inspired as many as it killed.
Yeah.
So it maybe balances out. Who knows?
DJ 8-Ball giveth, DJ 8-Ball taketh away.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
DJ 8-Ball's this close to getting a true crime documentary on Netflix chronicling the murders of the SoCal DDR freestyle scene.
I mean, he was already had a segment on KPIX back in the days.
Well, panel aside, also, I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone who participated in the improv tournament. That was one of those things where I just thought, yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Why don't we do this for like funsies? But I think the level of commitment that people had to their routines and like, I guess given the curveball thrown at them, they knocked it out of the park a lot higher than I would have imagined. So, I mean, just the fact that people are doing this on the fly, in 2018 when we're still just sort of like regaining momentum with freestyle, it was just encouraging to see. It was entertaining.
In case you're wondering, at MAGWest in the morning time, we did our panel, which you can see on last week's podcast, also on YouTube. And then in the evening time, we did a 2-round, 4th mix plus improv tournament. And the first round, the shtick was you were assigned a random prop and a random song. And we supplied a ridiculous variety of props. What were your guys' favorite props? Because I definitely had mine.
Oh,
I'll never forget the hot open with that pink pinwheel from Brandman, dude.
I am still laughing about that. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen on a DDR machine, was him with this little pink pinwheel that you'd see on like 4th of July, just like blowing it to the song 20 November. It was hilarious.
Like, he got more mileage out of that than he had any right to.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was the perfect pairing.
I would say the most clever one that I saw, that aside, obviously, it was the rubber chicken with Apple Frog. Like, I had no idea where he was going with it. He had gone through, like, maybe 1/3 to, like, half of the song. I'm like, okay, we're not sure. Then once you get to the chorus of If You're Here, and he's, like, basically doing the serenade, like, love letter to a rubber chicken. I'm like, damn it. It's just, you know something's good when you see a routine or something out there, like a musician song or whatever. You're like, damn, I wish I thought of that first.
My shout outs to Marjorie, aka Butters, for doing what she did with her prop, taking a simple, very innocent prop of a mushroom from Super Mario, and
It got dark.
it got dark right halfway through. But I guess she could say that she had experience with it before. So there you go. Shout outs to you, Marge.
Go with what you know.
Go with what you know, man.
That was a hell of a debut, I gotta say.
Yes, absolutely.
So, after 2 rounds of fierce improv competition, we crowned a top 3, and out of all the Freestyle Takeover competitions, this was the closest one we've had yet. First place, second place, and third place were separated by 1 point. So, a vote in any direction could have swung the whole thing a different way, so it was really crazy how it turned out. Third place was Brandman, who, what was his song that he got in the second round?
Song Suck.
Song Suck, that was fantastic.
Classic Korean.
Yes, he was emoting with the song, and that was great. Second place, we had 001, who he had I Believe in Miracles. I'm all riffing from the top of my head here, but really good I Believe in Miracles performance.
Yeah, that was solid. I've never seen him do a double knee drop at all, much less one that was like...
One that was, yeah, exactly. So
That was like a wrestling finisher or something. He went all out.
And in first place was really the guy of the day, and that was Apple Frog, who performed Young Forever. And it wasn't his first tournament win of the day. There was a Pump It Up freestyle tournament. He took first in that too, so he swept the entire day of freestyle tournaments. So
Sweet.
Good on you, Apple Frog. All of us were very impressed.
yes, it's like congratulations to you, Apple Frog. Definitely, it's very strong showing. Enjoyed every moment of all your performances, man. Keep it up.
There was a story, the guy Phil who brought the game machines to MAGWest, he had a friend who like left a DDR machine outside and it got like junk or scrapped for parts, and people like hacked it to bits, so he was giving away prizes of this broken DDR machine. Like Apple Frog walked out with like the screen cover
For Supernova?
for Supernova.
Freak that body.
Yeah.
and your boy John, aka Chaos, who happened to win the technical tournament earlier that day, ended up coming home with the button interface from that machine as my prize for that tournament. So yeah, I mean, I got myself a wall decal now for my room. Of just the DDR buttons.
All in all, a great day at MAGWest. We're grateful for you for inviting us over, guys, and we hope to do it again next year.
And speaking of tournaments, let's talk about our Cypher 2 results. In third place, we got Polyrath with Brazilian Anthem. Second place, we have Apple Frog again, that's a name. Get familiar with it, everyone, with Exotic Ethnic. And first place we have AKA USA underscore CH with Brazilian Anthem.
Okay, USA.
Okay, USA.
From Japan.
From Japan, because we live in an interconnected society. Everyone in the panel, our second Cyber Cypher, what did y'all think of the competitors this time around? Song selection.
Well, they picked my song. I was happy. We got plenty of Brazilian Anthem.
And Exotic Ethnic was my pick, so... Apple from doing Exotic Ethnic, holy hell.
He's the one we're still talking about. Like,
Yeah.
I would have... If I was judging, he just came out of nowhere with the concept and the costume, memorization.
Just the concept of it.
Yeah.
Yo.
He carried his prop game from MAGWest into Cyber Cypher, and just he had the fabric, the multicolored fabric, like the horns on his head.
Yeah.
Was it magic cards at the end?
Yeah.
He made it magic cards.
Handful of magic cards
yeah.
up in the air.
He basically did Magic the Gathering lore in theater form. And, like, yeah, high school theater kid Paolo was just swooning. Like, this is what I wanted all along from my freestyle. And to see that happen and executed so well, yeah. Number one with a bullet in my heart, Apple Frog.
It was for me. I think Apple Frog was the most prepared. I thought he just had a great concept and just all the props he was using. I think from what I was watching, AKA USA, his footwork was really just visually just exciting to watch for me. And I was just like, okay, this guy's got some smoothness to this, and it just fits the song so well. I think that appealed to me a lot. And it was hard for me to kind of choose between first and second place because, like, I really wanted to give Apple Frog a lot of credit, but overall, I think the Brazilian Anthem was just really just such a like it just felt very fluid and natural, and I think that kind of just put me slightly over the edge in wanting to say that was probably my favorite performance from Cyber Cypher 2.
Yeah, because Wendell here was one of the fan votes, and
Yeah.
I completely I hear what you're saying, man. That was like a masterclass in footwork. Footwork from the DDR has gone from like shuffling and sliding around to legit house steps, house dance,
Right.
and
Akausa.
I'm gonna say AK USA because we're all saying it.
We're all saying AKA.
AKU.
It's a good reference.
Sorry to butcher.
Yes, we loved it, man. It was just so technically impressive and just done on the fly, on doubles. I mean, shout outs to you, man.
Yeah, I think the challenges between preparing a routine and just doing something ad lib, it presents its own challenges, and obviously, Apple Frog always comes through with, especially if it's a prepared routine. He always comes through with it. Very fitting to the song with his wardrobe and the magic cards and all that. And then AKA US Akausa. I'm guessing it's Akausa, but AKA USA, brought a different type of feeling to it because, especially with the song choice, he had a lot of like groove, very very smooth, and I think that's what appealed to me with his routine, and I think both Apple Frog and Akausa could have been either or, but of course, shout outs to Polyrath for doing this thing too.
Yeah, don't count out Polyrath for sure.
He's climbing up that ladder.
Yeah.
That's what's important.
Like the progression from Cyber Cypher 1 to 2, he was facing the audience.
Yeah.
He had that locked down.
Yeah, so keep on doing your thing, Polyrath. We hope to see you in the next Cyber Cypher as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was fun watching this and actually having a little bit of freedom, not judging this time because we left it to you, the people.
So speaking of the people, John, what can you tell us about the people?
Well, all I can say about the people is the people are great. We got 12K followers to help follow the official Dance Dance Revolution Twitter account. And as a result, we got 2 new songs for the game to be implemented in. And those just came out just a few days ago, actually. So along with the Bemani Summer Greetings event that's happening, which also introduced 6 new songs, we also got Love Shine Wonderful Mix, which was originally debuted in Sound Voltex, and we also got DDR Mega Mix by DDR. Which was original. Yeah, nice artist name. It was originally in an older version of Poppin', and they were made available this past Wednesday for everyone to play worldwide. So, congrats to you, the people, for showing your love and support for DDR. Freestyler, Tech, you should see the room right now. Where it's a lovely scene. Everyone's got the right hand over their hearts, man. We are all one, as Genki Sudo likes to say. Yeah. So a really quick rundown of the Bemani Summer Greetings. We got 6 new songs, like I said. We have Life is Beautiful, Rejoin, Super Summer Sale, which is my personal favorite from the event. The song itself basically got like cashiers talking about I think giving them their change back. I don't know. It's pretty cool song.
Reminds me of Cheer Train.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, and you put it like that.
You got
This piqued my interest.
You got Hurin Hanabi, the fireworks song, I guess you call it, the second fireworks song in the game, and then you got Seiza ga Koishita Shunkan wo, a DJ Toto banger, my second favorite song in the event, and then probably the worst title in DDR history, Puberty Dysthymia. Yep. That's a thing.
So can you explain what dysthymia is?
I think dysthymia is like a form of depression, I think. I guess it's just emphasizing what you go through with puberty, the different range of emotions, I guess. I'm not too sure.
That's what I like to be reminded of when I'm playing dance games.
Exactly.
Relatable.
It's relatable. We're going through our angst. Sure.
This is like the DDR version of Summertime Sadness or something.
Seriously. After you unlock the first 6 songs in the event, you get a final song called Pray, which is, you could call it the newest boss song, quote unquote. It's level 18. And it's not your typical 18 in DDR, because DDR 18s are kind of notorious for being very gimmicky, tricky, crossover heavy. But this song, clocking in at a flying 210 BPM, basically just kind of tests your foot speed. There's a lot of drills. It's not super technical. It's just really freaking fast.
So it's not the MC Hammer song from 1991?
No.
Because, that song was hype.
Yeah, basically. But you might have to do the hammer dance to have to pass this song, because you got to have fast feet for this one.
You're going to want to practice that in the studio.
Yeah.
Would you recommend not wearing parachute pants while playing this one?
I think you would definitely look a lot. I mean, it definitely gets style points if you were to do Prey with the parachute pants.
Proper.
Yeah. So like I said, we got 2 songs. 2 quote-unquote fan favorites, I guess, that they were talking about. They were really popular, to be honest, for me. But hey, you know what? Konami's doing a thing for the people, and we are really appreciative of that. And we hope that it continues to happen, because I think, just slowly but surely, we're getting support from the company that created this game that we all love. Hopefully this just segues into something a lot bigger, especially the fact that 20 November is coming up. Wink, wink. But DDR Mega Mix is basically ode to Naoki. So you have 1998. You got B4U, Afronova Primeval. Then you got Bag.
Fan favorite.
Can't Stop Falling in Love. Broken My Heart. Love Again Tonight. Dive. And to top it all off, you get a nice little dose of Legend of Max. And a little bit of Paranoia in there too, some of the sound bits from there. But that's all basically mashed into one big mega mix, and it's by far the longest song in the game. It's 2 minutes 30 seconds.
It really feels like it.
Yeah, it's long. It's really long.
It's like a bunch of songs starting up and then being interrupted by other songs.
Yeah. So you can imagine it's a little bit of a pain to score on, but I can't wait to see what your guys' take on a freestyle routine for this song is too, because that's
Yes.
freestyling to 10 songs, my dude.
It's the history of dance.
It's the history of history of Naoki.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other song was a Love Shine remix, The original Love Shine was very cutesy poppy, and this little take on it is a little bit more. The demographic is people are more into electronic music, and that's what it's kind of catered to. So again, we'd like to thank the people for making this happen.
And now, I'd like to introduce our special guest for this episode 66666 panel. Coming to the stage, coming to the mic, Mr. Wendell, everybody. Give it up!
Emperor Husky.
I was hoping that you would get that sixth one because I was counting for 1, 2, 3, 4.
How many sixes did I get?
You only got 5.
I wanted to get out from the 666,
That's all
but
right.
then it was just like, I choked.
No problem.
All right.
We'll get it in the after.
Yeah. So, Mr. Wendell, so starting off, when was the first time you saw DDR?
I think it was at an anime convention. I think it was Anime Expo '99. I went down to Anaheim for Anime Expo '99, and in their game room, they had for the PS1 they had DDR, which was the first mix, and so that was on the soft pad, and I'm just like, this is an interesting concept. Like, I actually kind of like that. And then later, when I was still going to San Francisco State University that fall, they had brought in the 1.5 machine. That was a pretty interesting, just seeing the crowd there, was watching people playing and just like trying to time themselves. And everyone was kind of like getting their, just learning how to time everything and just watching. I was just like, this looks pretty cool. I just don't think I can do it. And then I just finally decided, hey, I'm just going to bite the bullet and just try it out. And I was like, okay, Have You Never Been Mellow was a pretty easy song. And the next thing, you just got to move up to Boom Boom Dollar. And then you move on to Butterfly, yeah. Yeah. And then I started feeling totally exhausted from it. And I was like, okay. After kind of watching it at San Francisco State, I think there was one over at the Sony Metreon in San Francisco.
$4 for a game, man. What up?
Yeah, I was hearing about that. Yeah, and then there was one time when my sister was working. This was like 1999. I drove my sister who had a job in Livermore, and she wanted me to drive there, but she wanted me to stick around so I could pick her up later on. So lo and behold, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna bide my time by going to Livermore Boomers, and from there, I saw a DDR machine. People were playing it, and I was just like, okay, let me start playing this. And I started like, just kind of like getting the groove to it. To go start getting used to timing and doing everything right. And one of the kids that was working there, it was like, hey, do you know about this website called DDR Freak? I'm like, no, I don't. Funny thing is, we all know who that guy that used to work at Livermore Boomers was.
Ooh, which one?
It was Jared.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wow.
Jared Rea?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Slip was the guy.
TCL?
Yes, Slip was the guy that introduced me to DDR Freak, and so it was.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was just like, hey, do you know about this site? And I was like, no, I don't. So that was my introduction. So I went on to DDRFreak.com. It was the green version. It wasn't like.
Are we talking like DDRN3.net?
I don't know if it was N3.net, but it was just when it was like.
It was a green forum.
It was a green forum. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, from there, it was just like seeing the forums and seeing like the listing of all the names and their nicknames and the people that were on there. And then you had like the videos that they had. It was just 8. It was the Santa Monica Pier videos, and then I think videos from the first Metreon tournament, because I definitely remember seeing Mel's Put Your Faith in Me, but then like the one that I was kind of enamored with was Shadow Me Twice's
Bring to you, OG.
yeah, bring to you OG. And so that was like, okay, that kind of like introduced me to DDR Freak, and I was just watching these videos. I was like, wait, people can freestyle to this? Okay, I'm getting to know this. And so it's like, we were all like, once when the Concord Cyberstation had DDR USA, we just started building a community of people, of players, and so forth. And then like, I was in San Francisco, and a friend Adrian was recording the tournament that was happening over at the Metreon. Was it August 2000?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the Metreon tournament in which you, when Mel was dressed as Laparca, and Hyperbroken's 540 Kick of Doom, and I think when they announced the first tournament of 2001, that was Turnarochi. And that was the one that was like, okay, I'm gonna bite the bullet and actually enter freestyle. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it should be interesting. And I think there was a time that someone had brought over a DDR fourth mix machine to Northern California. I think Mel might know about this. You remember Dr. Janie, right?
Yes, I do remember Janie. She was an anesthesiologist.
Right. At the time, she had brought in a fourth mix machine to her apartment in Emeryville.
Me and a couple guys helped her move it.
Right, and so we went up there to the 20. I think it was the 27th floor.
Yeah.
And we went up to that Emeryville, and we were just playing it. You know, we had like just like a board underneath, so it wouldn't make too much noise. But everyone was just going nuts over the music, and we were all about Shooting Star that night. Right, and then from there we just I think like while we were kind of resting, we were watching what was it, Korean freestyle videos, or it was like pumping up videos.
DDR Street, yeah.
DDR Street, and like everyone was obsessed over I think what was called Cat 49.
Oh, that was on Pump Street. Yes.
Yeah, Pump Street. So
like,
that was definitely like just getting my influence about trying to get into freestyle, and it was just like, okay, let me start thinking about things to do. And then when Turnarochi started, we were like saying, okay, what could I do? I can't dance worth anything, and I probably want to try to use some of the moves that I've seen through Pump Street or DDR Street. I think everyone's using these knee drops and think, okay, I'll see what I can do. Maybe I can go a little bit more harder than that. So my idea was like, I like this song. It's 20 November. Maybe I could impress some people by finding unique ways to hit the arrows. And there were a bunch of like 10 steps, up steps, and okay, what can I do? I can hit it twice with my hands, hit it with my knees, hit it with my elbows, and then I'm gonna, with the coup de grace, hit it with my head.
I remember those head slaps. We were just like, dude. I think there was like a "he's hardcore" chant that might have happened throughout that.
And then after that, it was like, what else can I do to get the crowd to go crazy? I know, I'm gonna do a bonsai drop on us on an arrow.
Bonsai.
And it was just okay. I'll do it, and it just kind of went from there. I was like, okay, people seem to enjoy it. Cool. And
was that the very end of the routine? Was that the climax, or?
I did the bonsai drop twice.
Okay.
And my butt did not like it the rest of the day.
Always comes back to wrestling.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of funny how wrestling always is associated with our freestyles. And then from there, it was just like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then I just was so hooked on trying to create routines and performances. I was just like, okay, this is pretty cool. And I'm meeting some awesome people. Any type of tournament I went to, I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go check it out. I gotta go do this. And I was hooked.
That's just so wild, though. Like, hearing this history from you saying, like, you know, when you got into your first freestyle, you weren't known for, like, knowing how to dance or stuff like that. Judging by, like, some of the stuff, by the time, you know, I'd taken notice and all that, I never would have guessed you didn't, like, weren't cutting a rug beforehand.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because, like, I guess for Northern California, our influence was, like, we wanted to make our freestyles look like actual dances. And that was kind of like the philosophy I think Northern California was really trying to embrace. I think maybe Southern California was embracing more of the flashiness, the more just the shock value, maybe.
Stunts.
Yeah, and so
Comedy routines too.
Yeah, comedy routines. But I know like a lot of us were really like had that idea that we wanted to make this, since it's a dance simulation game, let's actually make it look like dance. And so our early influences were K-pop video, first generation K-pop videos. And so that was just the idea of, okay, I want to do this. And then it was just trying to find the right songs that we could
kind of do that type of freestyle to. You have like fourth mix songs, you have third mix songs that are a little bit slower tempo. So that fit more my motif of what I wanted to do as a DDR freestyler, because obviously I didn't have the fancy footwork, I didn't have a lot of the athletic capabilities, but at least I had the rhythm, I had the timing down, and I felt like I could kind of do something that reminded people of what they probably seen in music videos. So it's like a lot of the influences I got were from music videos. Case in point, the couples routine I did with Kit, that last part where I took Keith's hand, he kicked his leg over, and then I flipped him over. I ripped that off from an NSYNC performance. Since I didn't have a lot of the athletic capabilities, my idea was to create a routine, memorize it, do it on stealth, face the crowd, use those as aspects to help. And I think I did all right, I suppose.
I think you influenced a lot of people that way. Just like you were saying, DDR freestyle in NorCal looking like actual dance, and separating yourself apart from a lot of routines that paid homage to Korea and Japanese routines of lots of stunts, lots of floor work and hand slaps and knee drops, faster tempo stuff like up tempo, dynamite rave.
Right,
at least
right,
in the
right.
early going, Love to Me, stuff you found on Napster, but specifically in NorCal, it started to get a lot more groovy and
Right.
get a lot more choreography.
I think that was just the influence. I think, to be honest, I think that was just the influence courtesy of Caesar, because him in music, and it was just like the idea that you had to dance this, and the idea of all of the hand slaps and knee drops, that to us wasn't considered a much of a dance, but more of a flashy way to hit the buttons. Yeah. So from there, it was just like, let's start trying to dance, and which is kind of funny because like a lot, like later on after the apex of DDR freestyle in Northern California, a lot of our freestylers started moving into real dance. So it like the influence was there. You had two groups that kind of separated. One moved into the video game industry, and then the other group moved into actual street dance. And and some of them kind of delved into them.
Both factions represented here. I mean, the one that went to Konami, and then John and James who went into dance.
So it was really fun to watch, and just watching like just the evolution of us as appreciative of how DDR influenced us later in the future. So it's been really kind of nice to see that us playing this game as a hobby turned into something that we could keep for us in like years to come.
Long term, man.
Yeah, so it's
And for
It's
me,
still fun.
yeah, it is still fun, and it's crazy because I've been doing this. I know it's only like maybe like 3 or 4 years where we really had a lot of performances and so forth, and or like tournaments, I should say. I mean, like when we were all just pretty active, everyone wanted to host a tournament.
Yeah, it's wild because we talked about how the plethora of tournaments that's been going on. You'd mentioned to me earlier that you kept a physical journal of all these tournaments that had happened in NorCal since the dawn of time, essentially.
Well, I figured that I was getting to a point where I was going to get older and I was going to forget every type of performance that I did. And so it was just like, I think in like 2004, I decided, okay, I'm going to just write down everything that I did. And then like we had Fremont 1 at the beginning of December. And then a week after was DDR Slam.
Oh, the Slam tournament. That was...
Yeah, so DDR Slam was a very unique freestyle tournament that we our collective minds between two of the I guess like the two major DDR freestyle contingencies. And,
yeah, we had RTF,
RTF,
which was my crew. We had your crew, which was Step Squad.
Yeah, we had so many, but I think like it was the idea. We were looking for ways to put in new music that we wanted to dance to. And So it was done at Milpitas Golfland with the boombox edits, and I know I did 2 songs that were done as boomboxes. One of them was definitely the right stuff by New Kids on the Block.
If you're not familiar with the boombox edit, it would be you physically turn the machine down so there's no music coming out of the game, but the steps are present. You're playing the game, but you're playing the audio track on a boombox next to the machine, and you're pressing play at the right time to sync up with the arrows on the screen.
So they're the same BPMs, right?
Same BPMs.
Yeah.
So pretty much how that works is, we had a couple people from both sides of both factions. They went into 5th mix or 4th mix or whatever. They'd created the step charts in edit mode. We'd pop the memory card in, then boombox and let her rip.
That was really fun. But
The song choices were pretty awesome.
Oh man,
it was like Motown Philly. There was of course, Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. It was like Para Para Sakura.
This is before making your own songs on Stepmania was a twinkle in anyone's eye.
Right. Dead serious.
I mean, that was definitely a fun time. But I think the highlight of that night was the Perfect Attack psych outs. So we had a different way of doing Perfect Attack. I think the idea was, to do it was like 1v1, and one person had to do was to try to keep their focus and get the arrows right. The competitor next to them had to do almost anything and everything to psych them out. So any way to distract them.
The only 2 rules were you could not obstruct their view with the screen, and you could not physically touch them. But everything else was fair game.
That was a Mike No idea, wasn't it?
I don't know if that was necessarily his idea.
But it was definitely a fun time. Well, with the exception for Hyper Broken, but
What happened there?
Okay. Here's the thing. He was going up against our good man Gary. But Gary says, while Hyper Broken is doing his perfect attack, Gary goes up and says, "Wait, I don't have my props. You got to restart." And Hyper Broken was like, "Okay." So he stopped playing and he failed the song. Lo and behold, Gary was psyching him out.
That's messed up.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It was like the lowest of the low, but it was fair.
Yeah. So
I have to add my other favorite psych out from that night was, I forget who it was. It was somebody. I think it was probably Mike Ty. It was, and I think his psych out was, "Dude, you suck so bad I don't even have to psych you out." And yeah, his opponent just either got shook or just his opponent did not win.
Oh man.
It got in his head.
Yep.
Mind games, man.
This is the kind of stuff I want to see in tech. You know.
Man, that's be such a good idea.
I mean, we had some great variety of ideas just for the tech and freestyle. There are so many great freestylers, and some people probably don't get much credit than they probably did back then. But there are so many great performances, stuff that I could probably, just like people that went in time and time again to just to perform, but they always got better, so it was just like people like, I guess, like Dark Dynasty and people like Dangle Wings. Those I always said that she was the most underrated female performer, freestyler.
You wouldn't be wrong.
So it because she started off really just like from the typical slaps, and then she just got better and better, and by the time we got to Castle Valley Golfland,
The So Fab So Fierce routine.
right? By the time we got to Castle Valley Golfland, which is definitely the epitome of the best Northern California DDR freestyle tournament. It was just 32 performances. 16 of them looked like they could have placed in any other tournament. And I don't think we really had high expectations that it was going to be that good. And just those top 16 were quality. It's just like I was hoping that we could get more out of it. Unfortunately, I think, it just got, it's just, it's a challenge, and some people can kind of persevere through it, and then others are just like, hey, let's start playing Initial D. So, but
What was it like being there and seeing each routine get better and better, or just each one knock it out of the park, like back to back to back, and like knowing you have to go up later?
for Kato, oh man,
'Cause, man, I
think,
wish I'd been there.
I like there was just so much hype because like Scandia prior to that tournament introduced us to a lot of the aero security Scandians at the time, and that was like Bruce Leroy, Loose Style, Rufio, Hitler Bad, Rufio Good was his full name, Mr. Hypnotics,
Nato, Sweaty Boy.
Nato, Radical, Sweaty Boy, yeah.
Surprised I pulled that name out of nowhere.
Yeah, so it was just like that was we were building a bigger community other than like what having RTF and Steph Squad, and like we were like at the forefront of freestyle, of promoting freestyle. But then like when you had groups like ASS coming in and adding to it, and then when you had other groups like the Sacramento groups, the Sacramento Alpha Team coming in, and then Mad Steps came in, and that was like, they were already starting to grow. It was just like this community was starting to just really become a lot bigger, and I was really loving it. And like going to Casa Valley, we had so much momentum from Sunnyvale, from Scandia, and it was just like, okay, let's what's going to come from this? And what came from it was just pretty much the best DDR freestyle tournament in the U.S.
The WrestleMania 17 of DDR freestyle tournaments.
Yeah, you're basically looking left to right, and then you're just seeing greatness, really.
Infinity War.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, when you look at just that list, it was amazing. Like, I thought I did all right, but I was like 12th, I think. Or I would think I was 12th, because you had AJ, you had Nobody Jen, you had Mr. Hypnotics, you had Bruce Leroy at 5th, you had Loose Style at 6th.
That was an amazing routine.
Yeah.
Was it 6? I think.
These all hold up.
It was crazy. Yeah.
No, I stand corrected, because Clark Kent had 5th.
Clark Kent
Yeah.
got 5th, yeah.
Clark Kent had 5th. Bruce
out to
Leroy
John.
was
Shy Guy.
was in there.
But yeah, Clark Kent's routine, that was always one of the most fascinating things to me, because that first half of routine was about as good as anything I'd ever seen, and he had completely blanked on his second half. Right. Had he even like had a modicum of like knowing what the hell he was doing at the end, it would have been an absolute home run and then some. That's how good his was. Half a routine was better than some of these people's best
I was
shots.
watching him practice on the side of prior to his performance, and you could just tell that he was going to destroy everyone. I mean, like, for me, he's the Tim Duncan of DDR freestyle. He was like fundamentally sound, and it was just like, man, this guy is gonna kick some tail. But then like that second part when he kind of messed up, and it was just like, oh wow, had he really cleaned that up, I think he would have won. But sometimes you have those moments, and it's but just so many great performances. Mm-hmm. It's not even like those that supposedly placed. Everything was memorable. Yeah. Things were memorable. Tequila was memorable. Oh yeah. JC was memorable. It's like, I remember your thing.
The Sugaru, yeah.
Cigaru, and then obviously Ryan. So it's like every performance, freestyle performance of that night was just had their moment, and so it was just like probably, and it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, if I got DQ'd out of CVGL, yeah, it was a great tournament. If I even competed.
But really, I mean, it's just like we just had so much. We didn't realize it until it happened, And it's just like that was probably the best tournament ever. But it's just like every tournament you kind of remember favorite performances. And shoot, it's like I can remember performances from Miggle 2, Sviggle 3, McEvil.
The Disney's Rave tournament.
Not only the Disney, I love to make that Disney Rave tournament.
Disney's Rave Tournament, me and John were doing a comedy Mortal Kombat routine, and you picked John up like Raiden flying across the screen and kind of lunged him at me.
Right. And then I think like Signer told me to, hey, do a toasty.
That's right.
Yep.
So I went in there and went, toasty! Got the pop that we wanted.
Yeah, the crowd was hyped for that. That was awesome. We made it up on the fly.
Yep.
But it was fun just to see so many, like, everyone having so much fun and just being creative with it. And that's what I really enjoyed. It was just like, okay, there's Perfect Attack. Okay, when's Freestyle?
And it's not something you can just force into existence, like into just happening overnight. I mean, this took 2 years to build up the NorCal freestyle scene to the level that it was for Castro Valley in 2002.
Right. And I thought, and then from there, like in 2003, I think I was telling Mel that I went to a tournament like every week, 5 out of 6 weeks, and that was kind of like everyone wanted to host a tournament, and then we were doing it, and then like I'm thinking about it, I'm looking at this at the timeline of it. January 12th, I went to Fremont 2.
That was my tournament.
Yes,
I ran that.
And that one I was very happy with because that was the one I won.
You won
with Jessica, and that's probably one of my favorites. Miracle, yeah, and we only practiced twice. We had a month to practice, and we met one time just to coordinate what we wanted to do, and we said, okay, we'll meet the day before just to get one more practice. And so we did that, and then it was like, okay, you think we can do it? Okay, let's do it, and we just did it.
The freestyle tradition.
Right, and it worked out well for us. And so a week after that was a tournament at QZAR. I think that was the one at in Pleasanton.
Oh, I was at that. Yeah, I was at that one.
Yeah. After that was Miggle Extreme. It was random select, and you had to do it on shuffle. I had Captain Jack. And there was just so much jumping in that, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm not gonna do so." So I was all right. And then like
I would have been stoked to get Captain Jack.
Well, that was 2 weeks after QZAR, and then a week after that there was the Comics and Comics tournament, Back to Basics.
Remember that?
I remember that too.
Yeah, that was the one that AJ recorded. Unfortunately, and that was the one in which Lou Style had his cleaned up version of Wild Rush. So that missing performance was recorded, but it got stolen. So that's one of the missing gems that we wish we could have back.
Comics and Comics. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man,
I did forget about that one.
I remember just like I would cut class to go to Hayward just to go play on the. It was a 3rd plus, right? It was in the back. It was it was just nice to just chill out and just play there until it closed. So I had a blast. I remember doing a Korean song, and then like my knee popped.
Oh shoot!
My knee popped. I was like, this hurts. I was doing Y, I think. No, it was Bakwa. And so I was, all those jumps on there, and like, I popped, and I was like, oh my god, my knee hurts, but I still want to play. So I walked over to Longstrugs. I bought myself a knee brace, came back, strapped that thing on, and played for another 2 hours.
That's hardcore.
That's a Willis Reed like.
Get the cortisone shot. Getting back on that field.
And then after that was with CBN.
Cyber Beat Nation.
2-day tournament in SoCal.
Right. Yeah. This 2-day tournament in SoCal, right in the heart of Koreatown.
Outdoors too.
Outdoors, yeah.
It had news coverage. JP Money has a whole news segment on like the
Was it a G4? Yeah.
G4. Yeah, I remember that. And
there's some slow-mo shots in there. There's his family's watching. Like his dad's up in the where his mom or dad's up high, just looking down the machine and him performing in front of this huge crowd.
I just remember that performance for We Will Rock You. That was pretty fun.
memorable.
Yeah, it was.
He's the original Rainmaker at the end.
Right. Yes. He was the original Mavic. I just remember watching what happened with BJ that weekend. They were going to take top 16 for the next day, and I know that BJ, his first routine was not that clean. He was like in tears. He was like, I don't think I'm going to make it to the next round. Luckily, he made it to the next round, and then next round, he just snatched it.
What was his day one? I've never seen this.
His day one routine?
Yeah,
It was We Will Rock You.
Yeah.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah. So he kind of, but when he came out with Make a Neck a Rock, his oozing charisma
There's nothing else
just
like it.
brought it out there. You know?
What was your personal favorite routine that you did?
Oh my gosh. I think I'm really just I'm very proud of my group routines, because each one, you know, was just so was unique, and I was doing, you know, I'm just the type of person that felt like couples routines would be a lot more fun to watch. And I wish there were more opportunity that we had to have more couples routines. But like Miracle with Iguana Girl is definitely a highlight, because it was just so much fun. We were inspired by the 80s, and we just it was definitely a fun time.
So we had a question from Polyrath actually about couples performances and couples freestyle. And he's asking if there's any freestyle tourneys back in the day that were couple specific, or was it just the video of 8-Ball and Samantha? He's asking.
Well, I think like before we had a lot. We had couples divisions. Sunnyvale Golfland one had a couples group. It was 8-Ball and Samantha, me and Kit, Ross and Jocelyn. And I guess, you know, that it wasn't that big of a group combination, but there's always opportunity for groups to perform in their own division. I know there
First
was
Metreon had a couples only division.
Mm-hmm.
That was J-Dog and his roommate did the Have You Never Been Mellow Maniac?
Right.
Yeah.
So Turner Orochi had a couples group tournament. I mean, it was Shadow Me Twice and G-Boy, and then you had Gareth and Louie, and you had the Bowie brothers.
Yeah, J-Dog and
Christine.
So it was a thing. Like
Right.
There's enough people entering that you could get its own separate division. That's crazy.
I think about the Sacramento cosplay and tournament. It was intertwined between three divisions. There was couples freestyle. There was routine freestyle, single routine freestyle, and then there was single improv freestyle. And they were all intertwined all together, so that none of them had to go consecutively, just to give the judges the opportunity to kind of cleanse their palate of a division to move on to the next one. So, I mean, like couples tournaments even happened in Milpitas. There was the Sacramento has another fabulous tournament, Shaft. Yeah, and so that was that had some couples tournaments. There was couples, there was singles, there was the 18 freestyle.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh,
Freestyle.
really?
Yeah. So, couples freestyle had its own division, and then there were moments in which couples was intertwined with freestyle just all together. Even Dollar Mendy's Summer Vacation had a couples freestyle.
That's right.
It's like you hear about, what is this tournament name called? It was like, well, there was one at Mountain Mike's Pizza in Concord, and it was called Dollar Mendy's Summer Vacation. And
Was that the tournament where like everyone drank a whole ton of beer and then freestyle?
darn right we did.
That's one tournament I'm like legit bummed I did not go to, because just drinking and freestyle, you know, what could possibly go wrong?
Now, I'm sure my niece, you probably seen that freestyle where I fell off the the stage with my niece on her back. It was Cowgirl.
Oh, Cowgirl, that's right.
Cowgirl.
With your
With my niece. She was 12 at the time, and she still hasn't forgiven me for it. But it's like, it's just like that's a special tournament for me because that's the tournament in which I lost by a point. Because Fuzzy decided to go very traditional Filipino, and I kind of jumped off the wall and did Center of the Heart, but I lose by a point. So it happens. I'm not bitter.
So I have a question for you, Mr. Wendell.
Yes, sir.
So you've presented us with this book that has a list of all the tournaments you've competed in.
Yeah, I had to, I have this moleskin, my old moleskin, and probably in 2004, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start forgetting this. So let me start just writing down what I did in tournaments, and maybe that might help me out. And I look at it, and I'm just like, what did I do with some of these performances and some of the song choices I did? And
you know what I'm about to ask you, right?
which is,
Are there going to be any more entries added to this book?
oh,
2018 Freestyle is back in DDR. We're doing our thing. Competition's coming up. Are we going to see the Emperor of Husky back on a DDR machine in front of the crowd?
I don't know if my knees are gonna allow me to do so, but I looked at some of the songs on DDRA, and I've looked at some of the steps for a few of the songs that I was able to find on YouTube, and then it just gets to your mind that maybe I might have an opportunity to do one more thing. I'm not gonna be
One more thing. One more thing. One more thing. One more thing.
I mean, for me, if I were to do something, I mean, it would be nice to be able to kind of commemorate this DDR freestyle community and just how much of a camaraderie we've had all these years. And I've gained a lot of friendships from here, and just seeing this revival of DDR freestyle, it warms my heart, but it makes me sad that I can't do some of those things I used to do back in the day. And I would like to possibly see if it's possible to do maybe a song, maybe not competitive wise, but maybe to as an exhibition. But I don't know how much time I can dedicate to that, because I got so much things I want to try to do. But it's I don't know. I mean, if I can probably come up with something, who knows?
Hey, I'll start the GoFundMe for the bionic knees for you.
We can make you faster, stronger.
We will take it to the people.
Hey, if people can get unlock new songs for DDR, people can give this guy new knees, man.
Yes.
Oh man.
Unlock them new knees.
I had a question.
Yes.
Looking right now at the freestyle landscape, if you want to call it, or just the player base these days. Obviously, lot's changed. A lot's changed with the music.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you want to see out of freestyle moving forward, or out of this generation of players? People who haven't tried freestyle before, but are curious about it, or people just getting into it and starting to enter tournaments?
I think right now, this is a great time to get into DDR freestyle, because back then, our influences were really what we saw, and it was first generation K-pop. Popping had a little bit of input into our freestyles, and the way that our group started to really embrace street styles and trying to incorporate it into our performances, it was nice to see. But now it's just it's more than just popping, it's more than just locking. We're seeing tutting, we're seeing people starting to do whacking, we're seeing some maybe some Vogue Fen possibly, so it's the because dance has become a lot more available, and I guess being seen and accepted, freestyle can definitely flourish from it, because the influences that or being able to have that access that can be incorporated into DDR freestyle performances. And I think what also helps is that the judges, the coordinators, the organizers are aware of that now. And so it's like, oh, dance has become a lot more available, and I'm like, and things that we're seeing out of Japan, I think it's just because we had that time away. I think it kind of refreshes us with what we can do as DDR freestylers. I could see a lot more dance being incorporated. I could see the large amount of information that we get from online now. So everything can, anything can have an influence on that. Dance, memes, society, everything can be pushed in together into a DDR freestyle, and I think it's going to be really great.
What a real, we're all friends here, but that was an honor and a privilege. You're a real steward for the DDR freestyle community. Like a real historian in the most literal sense of the word.
Like, also go off, there was like the Lady Being Award, which is like the sportsmanship award for hockey. Wendell would be like the perennial winner every year. For like, he is such an ambassador and like just the most gentlemanly of all people. Like, he is so accessible, so easy to talk to. Also the stuff you do with Fanime being like the main host on Stage Zero. I have yet to see anyone who speaks an ill word of you, and whoever does will probably get punched in the face by me. So
I'm just a guy just likes to try to stay young. I would be a Toys R Us kid, but they took that away from me. So, so KB Toys come back.
Oh, and with that, do you have anything you want to plug? Any final words, parting thoughts? This isn't goodbye. This is see you later. We'd love to have you again.
Oh, I appreciate it. I you know what? There's like few things that I have a plethora of stories, and if you want to have more conversation about some of the tournaments that we had and like some of the freestyles, and I'd love to come back, talk about it.
You've earned an encore as far as I'm concerned.
We just might have some ideas for that.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Mr. Wendell. And that was episode 66666 panel of the Freestyle Takeover Podcast. I've been one of your hosts, Paolo at the Disco. You can find me at PAOLO on Twitter.
And I am Ryan, aka Mr. Regular Ryan, aka Mr. Rygod, aka Arliss's second biggest fan. Find me at Regular Ryan on Twitter.
Arliss is started streaming tonight, right?
HBO Go.
HBO Go. Every season. I am James, at YayGabbyJ on Twitter. I run the Freestyle Takeover Twitter as well, at FS Takeover. Come check us out.
Also, sorry to interrupt you, digitally remastered videos of the Castro Valley Golfland tournament that we were recapping earlier. Courtesy of James.
Yeah, if you're going to watch one tournament from NorCal, one tournament period, that's the one to watch.
But not ours. Kidding.
From the archive.
Yeah, from the
Attitude Era?
Alright, that said, I have been Mel, aka DJ Melvis. You'll see me, like I said, at DJ Melvis. Find me on Twitter, Snap, Instagram. I'll just be happy to see you and, love me.
And I'm John, aka Chaos. You can find me on Twitter at a 40 ounce for breakfast. Again, glass bottles only.
For their homies. But I've been Mr. Wendell. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciated being on this. If you wanted to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Emperor of Husky, in which I have very interesting conversations working at my job with very young preteens and teens. So it's a fun read, I should say.
And remember, freestyletakeover.com for all your Freestyle Takeover needs. Fresno Frenzy 2, Saturday the 22nd. Be sure to say hi to us and be sure to enter. And with that, we've only got 4 words left for you.
Show me your performance!